Welcome back. You're tuned in to Inside Out. Well, today we focus on HEG, which can be termed as a steel ancillary. As we know, steel can be made via the blast furnace route and also via the electric arc furnace route. Now, HEG manufactures graphite electrodes, which is used by electric arc furnaces for steel production. It's used as electrical conductors to generate heat to melt steel scrap. HEG has approximately 13 to 14% of the world graphite electrode capacity and will move into third rank from fifth rank as its additional 20,000 tons comes on stream in this month itself, that's September 2023. Well, HEG is the last new entrant in the graphite electrode world in 1976. That shows that it's an industry with high entry barriers. In terms of consumption then, 1.8 kgs of electrodes are used to produce 1 ton of steel, which means it approximately accounts for around 2% of the cost of production of steel by the EAF route. Well, in the near term, there are likely to be plenty of headwinds, but part of the street is positive on the longer term prospects of graphite electrode companies like HEG. Now, GE demand is expected to remain robust in the medium to the long term, with the focus shifting to EAF steel production as a result of decarbonization efforts and as new EAF capacity comes on stream in the coming years. Well, EAF steel emits a fourth of the carbon in the environment if you compare it with the same steel that's produced via the traditional blast furnace route. Now, EAF steel production ex of China, well, it's moved up from around 350 million tons to around 435 million tons. And by 2030, that number could hit 535 million tons. Now, the additional 100 million tons of steel that will be produced by the EAF route, that could entail a potential demand of 200,000 tons of electrodes. And as of now, only HEG is adding capacity of around 20,000 tons globally. Even China's production through the EAF route is around 11%, and that's likely to go up to around 15 to 20% by 2025. Well, the management has stated, post its last quarter's numbers, that the next couple of quarters, they could be a little bit softish and margins can see some downside because electrode prices, they are falling at a faster clip in comparison to needle coke prices. Remember, needle coke is the key raw material. Now, the fiscal years FY18 as well as FY19, well, that was the golden period as Chinese electric arc furnace based steel production more than doubled, which led to a supply chain shock as the electrode demand rose by 95,000 tons. Well, the management admits a repeat of those 60-70% margins, well, that's highly unlikely. Now, a quick breakdown of the revenue shows that exports account for around 65 to 70% of its production, while ultra high power graphite electrode accounts for around 70% of its total mix. Moving to the valuations then, since FY24 performance will be a little bit subdued, it appears the stock is trading at around 22 times PE. But since FY25 could be far better, valuations appear a little bit more palatable at around 13 times. So the key triggers going ahead are volume growth from FY25 onwards as their capacity expands by around 25%. Also, their foray into graphite anodes for lithium-ion cells, for which they're incurring 1,000 crore capex, and that project is expected to come in stream in the second half of FY25. Well, let's wind this down with the shareholding pattern. The promoter entity, well, they hold close to around 55% stake in the company. The FIs, we put it together, they hold roughly around 6.5% stake in the company, and a near equivalent amount is held by domestic funds. Well, we've completely run out of time on this edition of Inside Out. I hope you enjoyed the show. It's goodbye from Sonal and myself, but you keep writing to us. Tell us about companies you want us to feature on the show, and we'll try to feature some of them. Thanks so much for watching.